Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. So according to Mark Hughes, he believes Ryan Giggs could become Manchester United manager, reflecting on the success that he's had with Wales. Now Ryan Giggs did endure 24 years at Manchester United. He won 13 Premier League titles and he's made the most appearances for the football club. Now, don't forget Ryan Giggs came to manage Manchester United on a temporary basis after the sacking of David Moyes. Then I think he was our assistant to Louis van Gaal. But yeah, Ryan Giggs does know the club inside out. But yeah, I don't think, he would be good enough as a manager. So that's the breaking news on that. Now, Mauricio Pochettinho is waiting for Ole Gunnar Solsjaer to be sacked. Pochettinho is the favourite to take over. Now, there was reports last week saying that Manchester United had contacted Mauricio Pochettino's representatives over replacing Solskjaer at the football club. Pochettino was linked with a managerial role at Manchester United before Solskjaer got appointed in December 2018. Now, Mauricio Pochettino has been managerless for around a year because he was sacked from Tottenham last year. I think Mauricio Pochettino is a better manager than Solskjaer because Pochettino is well proven in the Premier League. He's dealt with top players. My only element of concern about him, he has not won anything in terms of silverware. Pochettino endured 5.5 years with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his managerial tenure with Tottenham, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four. And don't forget last year, he guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. He's managed 3 clubs so far in his managerial career. Tottenham, before he was at Tottenham, he was at Southampton. He endured a very short tenure with Southampton, but he still guided them to their highest finish in the Premier League era. And before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. Now, it also mentions that Man City are interested in him. Real Madrid have been in for him before, and Newcastle once inquired about getting him in. If we do appoint Mauricio Pochettino in, he will be our 5th permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under serious pressure at Manchester United, reflecting on our bad start to this season. We've already lost 2 of our opening 3 league games, and both of these defeats have come at home, and it's the first time we've lost our 2 opening home league games in 34 years. We lost our opening game against Crystal Palace by 3-1. That was our worst defeat on an opening day of a Premier League season since 1995. And we recently lost to Tottenham by 6-1. That was our heaviest defeat since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. And it was the first time we'd lost 6-1 since the 6-1 defeat to Manchester City back in 2011, which was over 9 years ago now. And Solskjaer made an admission after that game saying that it was the worst day in his managerial career. And to be honest with you, we was very, very lucky to beat Brighton. We're beating them by 3-2, but in reality, that game should have ended 2-2. I think probably the best game we've endured so far this season was the 3-0 win against Brighton in the Carabao Cup. We are currently sitting 16th in the Premier League, so we are near the relegation zone. Ed Woodward obviously came out yesterday, like he updated you, and he said he's prepared to sack Solskjaer. if things don't improve quickly. Solskjaer's obviously, to blame for some of the inconsistency, because his decision making at Manchester United has been very, very poor. In a lot of his games, he's been very tactically naive. I think there's also players that have got to take responsibility, because I think there's players at Manchester United that are not good enough. And there's quite a few players that have had a bad start to this season. David De Gea, I think he's had a bad start to this season. He's conceded 11 goals in his last 3 games. David De Gea has been a liability in the last couple of years, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. This season is David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United. He has made over 400 appearances for the club in all competitions. 300 odd of those appearances have come in the Premier League. Probably had around 7 good years, to be honest with you, but David De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club, and he's won individual awards reflecting on his good run of performances. We paid just over £18 million for De Gea from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. There's a possibility chance he could leave next summer. When De Gea does leave Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. He signed a 4-year contract last September worth $375,000 a week. That means he's the highest paid at the club and the highest paid goalkeeper in the world. David De Gea shouldn't remain our number one. Like I've said before, I think we should put Dean Henderson as number one, because I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number one goalkeeper. In Dean Henderson's last 2 games, he's kept clean sheets. Dean Henderson's been at Man United since the age of 14, so he's been part of the club for several years. And he did enjoy 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And not so long ago, we give Dean Henderson a 6-year contract worth $120,000 a week. Wan-Bissaka, he's enjoyed a very, very poor start to this season. I thought he looked a bit fatigued towards the end of last season. In a lot of his games last season, he performed very, very well. Defensive contribution always been good, but he's lacking that attacking intent, is Wan-Bissaka. Man United won't sell him, obviously, we'll keep him. I still believe he's the foreseeable future for the club. This season is Wan-Bissaka's 2nd season at Manchester United. Obviously, we got him in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. You've got Victor Lindelof. He's enjoyed a very, very poor start to the season. He was accountable for all of Palace's 3 goals in the opening day defeat. Lindelof's out of his depth. I think he's had some good games as a Manchester United player, but he's also had a lot of bad games. So maybe there is a possibility chance that at some point next year we could offload him. Lindelof's enjoyed around 3 years or so now at the football club. Paid £30 million for him from Benfica back in 2017. Obviously, Victor Lindelof last season was one of our first choice centre-halves. But Solsjaer confirmed that Bay will be playing more regularly this season. Because I think Bay is a better centre-half than Victor Lindelof. My element of concern about Eric Bay, though, is that he's injury prone. Bay recently sustained a suspected hamstring injury whilst on international duty with the Ivory Coast. Bay's enjoyed a good 4 years or so now at Manchester United. We paid around £30 million from Villarreal back in 2016. Harry Maguire, he's had a very, very poor start to the season. I don't think he's good enough for Manchester United. Of what I've seen, don't get me wrong, he has had some good games, but he's also had bad games. Harry Maguire was accountable for 2 of Tottenham's goals in the 6-1 defeat. He makes too many mistakes, does Harry Maguire, and I think we made the wrong decision by giving him the captaincy. We're giving the captaincy reflecting on Ashley Young's departure, didn't we, back in January? But I think we need to take the captaincy off him and we need to give the captaincy to someone else. I think maybe we should give it to either Donny van der Beek or Bruno Fernandes, because they are the ones that show fantastic leadership in the team. This season's Harry Maguire's 2nd season at Man United. We definitely overpaid for him. We paid 80 million for him. So as it stands at the moment, he's the second most expensive sign at the club and the most expensive centre half in the world. You know, Luke Shaw, he's enjoyed a poor start to this season. Luke Shaw's obviously no longer our first choice left back following the arrival of Alex Telles. My element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he is injury prone. Luke Shaw's endured over 6 years now at Manchester United. You know, we paid £30 million for him from Southampton, something like that back in 2014. The first part of last season was out with injury. Towards the end of last season, had an ankle injury. But I think Manchester United will still keep him. Paul Pogba, he's endured a very, very poor start to the season. I thought Paul Pogba very poor against Palace. I thought he was poor in the 3-2 win against Brighton, and also very, very poor against Tottenham. I think he did alright in the Brighton game in the Carabao Cup. Obviously came on and scored that good free kick, didn't he? There is a lot of uncertainty regarding Paul Pogba's future, isn't there? Now, Paul Pogba recently made an admission saying that his dream is to play for Real Madrid one day. So he basically wants to join Real Madrid. Now, last year, Paul Pogba said that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge. And he was talking a lot about Real Madrid and Zinedine Zidane. But I think last year, our valuation put Real Madrid off because we wanted around £180 million. That's over double than what we actually paid for him because we paid £89 million for Pogba. He's our most expensive sign at the moment. But AS, which is a Spanish publication, there recently said that Real Madrid are not interested in making a move for Pogba next year. So they're not going to make a second attempt to try and get him. Obviously, there has been narratives of Paul Pogba possibly going back to Juventus. He did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. The vast majority of his performances at Man United, though, since he rejoined, have been totally comparison to his ones in Turin. But I just want to confirm there's been no talks regarding a new contract for Paul Pogba. His agent Mini Raiola came out, don't forget, before we kicked off our season. He said that Paul Pogba will stay. He wants to stay this summer. And he will hold talks over a new contract. As it stands at the moment, he's got around 8 months left on his current contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. This is his 5th season at Manchester United since he rejoined. For the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on him because he was out with that ankle injury. He sustained a few injuries as a Manchester United player. But like I mentioned, we was critical of his agent Mini Raiola earlier on this year. Main explanation is because he publicly criticised Solsjaer and Manchester United, didn't he? You know, but a lot of Man United fans believe that Paul Pogba's not good enough. You know, he's had some good periods here and there, did well when Solskjaer was a temporary boss. He did well towards the end of last season because his combination with Bruno Fernandes was very, very good. But I think Paul Pogba's valued at just over £70 million. Now, I've got to say, you know, Fred, he hasn't had the best of starts to the season. You know, some Man United fans don't think he's good enough. He had some good games last season, though, to be fair, Fred. Fred's found game time difficult, you know, since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes, hasn't he? Fred's been at the club now for a few years. Paid £52 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk back in the summer of 2018. There was rumours of Fred leaving the club, wasn't there, before? But Fred came out and said that he wants to stay at Man United and he wants to be an essential player and win trophies for the club. But he still could possibly leave at some point next year. Nemanja Matic, you know, I think he had some good games towards the end of last season because he was getting more chances. And I think he has improved, but when he's played this season, hasn't done that well. You know, Matic is aging up, like I mentioned. This could be his last season as a Manchester United player, despite the fact that he signed a 3-year deal not so long ago. You know, Matic has endured over 3 years now at Manchester United. Got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. You know, Scott McTominay, I've got reservations about him, is he good enough to emulate into a world-class midfielder? I don't know. I think he had some good games last season, but don't forget last season McTominay had that ankle injury. He's been part of the club for several years. He committed his long-term future with the club because he signed a 5-year deal not so long ago, actually, McTominay. So there's a lot of players, that have definitely got to take responsibility for our inconsistency. I think there's some players that have had good starts to the season, and we've still got at least 4 or 5 good players in our team. I think, Marcus Rashford, he's very, very good. Rashford's definitely improved. Rashford was recently awarded the MBA award for services for vulnerable children, so I give Rashford a lot of credit for that. Rashford's now 22. He's been at Manchester United since the age of 7, so he's been with us around 15 years. And he's been in our senior squad since 2016, and since then has become an integral part of the team. Rashford obviously now plays on that left-hand side. I think also too Mason Greenwood, very, very good. I think he's definitely the foreseeable future for Man United. Mason Greenwood was recently withdrawn from the England squad by Gareth Southgate, weren't he? For the game against Wales, Solsjaer actually backed Gareth Southgate's decision, didn't he? We had a few issues with Greenwood before we kicked off our season. Mason Greenwood is our number 11. He's the 4th Manchester United player to wear the number 11 shirt. I think also too Anthony Martial is good. He hasn't been great this season by all means, but I thought last season he was absolutely exceptional, was Anthony Martial. Thought he was very, very good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. Martial's endured over 5 years now at Manchester United. Obviously plays in that number 9 role, which is central. He's very effective in that central position, even though it isn't his predominant position. For the vast majority of his Man United career, he has been playing out wide. I also think that Brandon Williams is very, very good. Brandon Williams currently wears the number 33 shirt now. I think he's the first player to wear the number 33 since Paddy McNair. What's going to be happening now with Brandon Williams following the arrival of Alex Telles? I wonder what's going to be happening with him. I think an agent has actually advised Brandon Williams to leave Manchester United. I heard that Southampton recently inquired about getting him. I thought last season Brandon Williams was very, very good for us. Made his senior debut against Rochdale in the EFL Cup and made his first league start against Brighton. Not so long ago, Brandon Williams signed a 4-year contract with Manchester United, didn't he? I think probably the 2 best players we have got at the moment is Donny van der Beek and Bruno Fernandes. Donny van der Beek has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. There's question marks around Solsjaer. Why has he not yet started Donny van der Beek in the Premier League? Donny van der Beek has not yet made his full Premier League debut for the club. We got Donny van der Beek in a deal worth £40 million. He signed a 5-year contract with Man United with an option of a further year, and he currently wears the number 34 shirt. Bruno Fernandes, he's definitely made the difference in the team. Bruno Fernandes has been at Manchester United now for almost a year. He's been at the football club since January. I think last season Bruno Fernandes won some Matt Busby Player of the Season, and I think he must have won Premier League Player of the Month a good 3 times, reflecting on his good performances. The vast majority of Bruno Fernandes' goals have come from the penalty spot. So yeah, I've been very, very impressed with him. And don't forget, Bruno Fernandes recently raged at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, reflecting on his tactics in the 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. And Bruno Fernandes said he was upset with Solskjaer that he had to be taken off at half time. So I get, where Bruno Fernandes is coming from. So I think they're the good players that Manchester United have got. But to be honest with you, the vast majority of the blame stems from the board. It really, really does. Because Solsjaer did reveal quite a few times during the summer transfer window that he was very frustrated with the board. Because I don't think Woodward and the Glazers have backed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough. And to be honest with you, I think the managers that we've had since Alex Ferguson retired have not been backed enough. We've been critical of Woodward and the Glazers for several years, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players. And this is why. Woodward's been at the football club now around 8 years or so. The Glazers have been at the football club over 15 years. Matt Judge, he's been at the football club around 7 years or something like that. But I think the biggest culprits are the Glazers, like I've mentioned before, because the Glazers are the ones that recommended Woodward in. They also recommended Matt Judge in. And I just don't think the Glazers have got any intentions of selling the football club. Don't forget, Woodward and the Glazers were said quite a few times that they was going to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Don't forget, a few times last season, Woodward assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job was safe, despite our inconsistency. But in that summer transfer window, we missed out on all of our targets. Well, we missed out on all of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority targets, didn't we? But in total, we missed out on a lot of targets. Like I said, we missed out on Jadon Sancho. We missed out on Ismail Assar. We're not willing to make a move for Ismail Assar, though, are we? Before the 16th of October, we missed out on Ousmane Dembele, but Ousmane Dembele to Man United is still a possibility in January. In the summer transfer window, we inquired about getting him on loan. We also missed out on Jack Grealish, we missed out on Nathan Ake, we missed out on Kalidou Koulibaly, we missed out on Sergio Reguilon. In reality, Manchester United should have signed Sergio Reguilon. We also missed out on Gareth Bale, we missed out on Jude Bellingham. Back in January, we missed out on Erling Haaland. And Solskjaer, did admit, Manchester United have obviously got to spend money. Solskjaer has endured 4 transfer windows as Manchester United manager. And he spent over £200 million at the club. Now, in the summer of 2019, Solskjaer recommended Daniel James, and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January, he bought Bruno Fernandes and he brought Odion Ighalo in on loan. And in this year's summer transfer window, he brought Donny van der Beek in, Edison Cavani, Alex Telles, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Traore. He brought 4 players in on deadline day, didn't he? Amad Traore, by the way, will be joining the football club in January. That has been confirmed. So, to be fair, Solskjaer has made some good signings. He has made some good signings. We've also seen a lot of players leave since Solskjaer got recommended into the football club. The most recent players to leave were obviously, Chris Smalling. He left to join Roma on a permanent deal. Like I mentioned, farewell to Chris Smalling because he was long-serving at Man United. He enjoyed a decade at the club, was it? And I think he made over 300 appearances for us in all competitions. We let Delors go out on loan to AC Milan. We obviously let Andres Pereira go on a one-season loan with Lazio. We loaned Tahith Chon out to Werder Bremen. We loaned Dylan Levitt out to Charlton. I think we let Joe Pereira go out on loan for another season. I knew we was going to loan some young players out so obviously they can get, more opportunities. Obviously, Ashley Young, he left the football club back in January to go to Inter Milan. Young did enjoy 8.5 years at Manchester United. We let Sanchez obviously go to Inter Milan permanently. We made the right decision by getting rid of Sanchez. We really, really did. because Sanchez endured a difficult 18 months at Man United, and plus his wages were having a really bad effect on the football club. In the summer of 2019, we let Lukaku and Ander Herrera go. There were two players that Manchester United should not have got rid of. We let Darmian go, didn't we? We let Valencia go in the summer of 2019 after he endured 10 years at Man United. Don't forget we also let Angel Gomez go. Fellaini, he left in January 2019. I think he was the first player to leave Man United under the Ole Gunnar Solsjaer era, I do like the way Solskjaer has promoted the youth as well, because the young players have been given their opportunities. You know what I mean? By the way, we could still offload another 4 or 5 players before the other transfer window shuts. Obviously, we're looking to offload Marcus Rojo, we're looking to offload Phil Jones, we're looking to offload Sergio Romero, because he's open now to leaving the football club, because he's now our third choice goalkeeper, isn't he, Romero, because Dean Henderson returned not so long ago. Lingard, he's also another player we're looking to offload, and like I said, there's been rumours of Brandon Williams leaving the football club. But Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now for almost 2 years, hasn't he? And he's got just under 2 years left on his current contract at the club. He's under contract with us till 2022. It'll only cost us around £4 million to sack Solskjaer. That's totally contrast to the 18 million that we paid to sack Jose Mourinho. This is Solskjaer's second full season as Manchester United manager, isn't it? And I was saying before we kicked off this season that this was going to be a big season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I said to you, didn't I, he's got to exceed his expectations if he's to keep his job at Manchester United. And I said he's got to guide us to a top 4 finish, maybe the top 2 or top 3. And he's got to win a trophy with us, because we've not won a trophy for over 3 years, and we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Like I said, players have got to improve and results have got to improve. That's the only way he can avoid getting the sack. He's in the same position what he was in at the first part of last season, because don't forget, the first part of last season we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. At that point, Solskjaer was very close to getting sacked as Manchester United manager. I've got to give him credit for what he did last season, because last season he did exceed most of his expectations. Got us qualification for the Champions League, we finished 3rd. We did also progress to 3 semi-finals. The FA Cup semi-final, the Europa League semi-final, and the EFL Cup semi-final. And don't forget, we went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions, went on a 14-game unbeaten run in the Premier League till Palace beat us. We did well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager, didn't we? So we've had some good periods under him. You know what I mean? But I just don't think he's the right manager for Manchester United, because he hasn't got that proven pedigree. Like I've said on my other videos, Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. He's managed over 90-odd games. He's managed over 90 games now for Man United, but he has won over 50 games as Manchester United manager, hasn't he? But in the last 7 years, we've been playing catch-up, because we've obviously had different managers with different philosophies. We spent close to the £1 billion range on players. We've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. The managers that have been sacked since Ferguson was Moyes. He got sacked after, 8 and 9 months. We finished 7th under the Moyes era. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years. We did win the FA Cup under Van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite winning the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. Also got a 2nd in his first season. So we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, have we? But like I said, Solskjaer's inheriting a lot of players even from the Jose Mourinho era, still a few players even from the Van Gaal era, still one player from the Moyes era, and still around is the 2 players here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. You know what I mean? So yeah. The news, by the way, on One Matter. I give you the news regarding One Matter on one of my recent videos I did. The last time I read up, it said that One Matter's been offered a lucrative a lucrative contract worth around $15 million to go and play in Saudi Arabia. Maybe he will accept this offer with Juan Mata. Juan Mata doesn't get in the team lot now, but, when he does, he makes a fantastic impact, doesn't he? Juan Mata's enjoyed 6 years at it's over 6 years, at Manchester United. Made 257 appearances in all competitions and scored 50 goals for the club. He got given man the match in both our Carabao Cup games against Luton and Brighton. We paid just under £40 million for Mata from Chelsea back in 2014. Now, obviously, Newcastle's on Saturday. You saw my video I did yesterday of how Manchester United could line up in that game. Could be a change of formation, couldn't there? Because quite clearly the 4-2-3-1 isn't working. Solsjaer's gone a lot with that formation since he got appointed in as Manchester United manager. Telles should be making his debut on Saturday. Like I said, Edinson Cavani's debute's been delayed due to COVID-19 restrictions. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.